Hi guys, welcome to the Makeup Hunter. I'm Laura. In today's video we are going to do a bit of a chilled get ready with me. I have some new makeup products that I haven't tried yet that I want to try for the first time in this video. Probably going to use a combination of new products and my Shop My Stash items. So without further ado, let's get started. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to my channel. I'm very close to 100 subscribers, which is a big milestone for me, so I appreciate absolutely anybody who subscribes to my channel. Leave me a like, a comment. I really enjoy chatting to you all in the comments section. It feels like I've got lots of new friends. So like I say, if you want to see me try some new makeup products, then please keep watching. Okay folks, so as I said at the beginning of the video, I've got a mixture of new products and Shop My Stash items to do my makeup today. I have quite a lot of new products to try, and what I've been trying to do is use them once and then put them away into my makeup collection. What I'm trying to get away from is having loads of items in my makeup collection that are still in the boxes that have never been used. I want to try them and then put them away, so I at least know how I feel about them when it comes to doing like my Shop My Stash videos. So I have a big box of well, a big bag of new makeup. Some of it is stuff that I hauled recently in my Beauty Bay and Cut Beauty haul, and then I've got some other bits and bobs that I've sort of just accumulated, or that are from like a couple of months ago that I haven't got round to using. So I'm definitely going to be using a new foundation. I have got some new primers, but because I'm going to be using a new foundation for the first time, I don't want to use a new primer as well, just in case, you know, I can't tell which one is acting up if one of them acts up. So I'm having some serious dry skin issues at the moment. My nose is so sore, so I'm actually just going to go in with a little bit of the LiQWYD Skin Food just on the areas where I'm extra dry, and I'm just going to let that sort of soak into my skin. So I'm especially dry on my forehead, nose and around my mouth, so mainly like the very centre of my face. And this is a lovely thick rich moisturiser formulated for rough dry skin, but it's also beautiful as a base for makeup because it just makes your skin really plumped and juicy, and foundation just sits really nicely on top of it. So rather than go straight in with foundation right on top of that, I do want to sit and let it really soak into my skin properly. I have got moisturiser on already that's been on my skin for about 45 minutes by now. I've just been sort of doing my hair and watching YouTube videos, so I definitely needed an extra layer of moisture. So I'm just going to sit for about 10 minutes to let that soak into my skin. And I've been umming and ahhing about what foundation to try because I've got like 4 new foundations to try, all drugstore. But the one I think I'm going to try today is the Nyx Born To Glow. I've swatched all these foundations on the back of my hand, but I've not tried any of them on my skin yet. So I'm just going to go and let that skin food soak into my skin, and then I'll come back. Okay guys, I've just brought you in a little bit closer. Excuse me. So the skin food is nicely soaked into my skin now. So I'm going to go in with the NYX Born to Glow foundation, and I have the shade 1.3 Light Porcelain. Now I'm a little bit concerned that this may be a touch too light for me, but we're going to give it a go. So just to begin with, I'm just going to use like a pea sized amount and see how I get on with that. And I'm just sort of doing the majority of the application with my fingers, which is just how I like to apply new foundations that I don't know how they're gonna perform. Blends in super easily. I'm just going to take a tiny little bit more for my nose and under my chin. So I've just took that much more. The colour's actually spot on, I think. So I'm not fully blending it in, I'm just sort of dispersing the product as best as I can. Seems to dry quite quickly, and then I'm just going to use my damp Morphe sponge to blend that in. It's quite I would say medium coverage, which is my favourite sort of foundation coverage. I like a light to medium that can be built up. Considering this is the Born to Glow, it feels, bearing in mind I've got that LiQWYD skin food on underneath, which is a very juicy, hydrating, thick product. This isn't as glowy as I thought it was going to be, but actually it's just very natural, very skin-like. It's pretty much undetectable on my skin. Do you know what, I really like that foundation. Obviously I don't know how it's going to wear on my skin. Having dry skin, I do sometimes find that foundations tend to look better the longer that I have them on. But without speaking too soon, this may be a new favourite. It's not picked up on any of my dry patches. Obviously the LiQWYD skin food is going to help with that, but it's just so lovely and natural. Yeah, I'm really pleased with that. So far I'm really excited. Okay, so I don't have a new concealer to try, so I'm just going to use my Glossier stretch concealer, which is in my Shop My Stash at the moment, and I just like to apply this with my fingers. I find that this sort of concealer product that's quite emollient does need like the warmth of your skin to sort of get it into the fine lines I have under there. So I just like to take my time and just sort of press that in. And I do have a little bit of a red mark in between my brows where I think I've scratched at my face. I'm really into this foundation. I'm quite excited about this foundation, I must say. So I don't think I'm going to set with any powder. I think I'm just going to leave my skin be at the moment because of how itchy and sore and dry it is. So I'm just going to let those products soak in. I'm just going to put a little bit of my lip balm on. This is just a Body Shop lip balm. This is the Satsuma shimmer, and it smells lovely. So what I'm going to do now is bronze up my face a little bit. I did have a couple of new bronzing products that I shared in my my recent collective haul. I had the Danessa Myricks and the pink honey bronzer, but I've tried both of those, love them, and I've put them away into my collection. I'm only trying makeup here today that I've never tried before, other than what's in my Shop My Stash. I'm trying to get as much use out of my Shop My Stash products as I can. So I'm actually going to just use my Benefit Hoola Quickie Contour. This is in my project pan, and because I've been trying the pink honey and Danessa Myricks ones, this has not had a lot of love off me recently. So this is definitely up there as one of my favourite bronzing products, not just cream bronzing products, but bronzing in general. I mentioned in my clothing haul, not clothing haul, sorry, my collective makeup haul, that my mum was going back to work. She's been off since November last year. She, at the very beginning of the pandemic last year, my mum contracted COVID. In fact, we all got COVID, me, my mum and my dad. But my mum is asthmatic, so she suffered obviously with it incredibly badly and was hospitalised. We'll all admit that it was touch and go for a while, and hands down the worst experience of my life ever. I get anxiety just thinking about that period, and the COVID really, at the time my mum was still nursing, and it really knocked her about, the COVID, even when she came back from hospital, and she was over it, thank God for the NHS. She was really poorly, so she was trying to work, but she was really struggling. They call it long COVID, so it can take months and months and months to actually get over it. I mean, my mum's still struggling now with like her energy levels and things like that, but the place that she was working at, she was a night nurse, and they were incredibly unsupportive of her. Did some things that, you know, were really not nice, and she resigned, and me and my dad kind of thought that she was gonna not go back to work. We've had her at home now since November, and it's been so lovely, but my mum's a nurse through and through, and she really missed caring, you know, nursing. So she's been a nurse since 1972, my mum has. So I helped her get a job back nursing, and it's her first night working tonight. It's going to be good for me as well, because we've become inseparable, and I've become quite dependent on her for my happiness, which sounds really strange, but like, she is the reason I get up in the morning. We stay up till the same time. We like live our lives in this little bubble, and now my dad's retired as well. He's kind of done the same, and I'm 36 years old, and I've found that I've sort of reverted almost back to childhood. So mum going back to work is going to be really good for me, as much as I didn't want her to go back to work, and as much as it was horrible when she was leaving tonight. Like Ray as well, my pup, he doesn't know what to do with himself, he keeps looking for her. But I know it's going to be good for me, because I was in a great routine with filming when mum was at work. I was doing my course, you know, to keep myself busy. I was a lot more independent than I've become. So tonight I've got this big night of filming planned, you know, and she's on tomorrow as well, so I'm gonna do some stuff tomorrow that I've been wanting to do, like filming wise, and you know, it's just, I think it's going to be good for me. So I was in bed till 4:30 this afternoon. I didn't go to bed until 10 o'clock this morning because I was up all night in serious pain. But I'm rested, I've took my painkillers, and I'm sort of showered, doing my makeup now. I've done my hair, and I'm gonna have like a long haul filming night. So I'm quite excited, but I don't know why I just blabbered on about all of that for so long, like 10 minutes. So I'm so sorry for anybody watching. I know I talk too much, I know I do. Please forgive me. I'm just going to quickly prime my eyelids. I'm going to be using new eyeshadow palette, and I think I'm going to use my MAC paint pot, just because this had the other eye primer that I love that's in my Shop My Stash is my Urban Decay Primer Potion in the shade Sin, which has like a shimmer to it, and I don't really want to influence the eyeshadows that I'm going to be using. Like, you'll see the shimmer through the matte shadows when I use that, which I quite like, but I just want to see how the shadows I'm going to use do completely on their own. So I just use the shade Laying Low, which is this like warm camel brown. MAC paint pots are my absolute favourite eye primer, absolutely love them. And then I'm going to just, before I do my eyebrows, I'm just going to spritz my face with some of the Fourth Ray Glisten Up spray. It's so pretty, look. So the only thing I don't like about this is the spray is quite aggressive, and it does deposit quite a lot onto the skin. It smells beautiful, it smells like orange juice, but I try and hold it really far away, but it still deposits loads. And even though I've not applied powder, I'm just going to take this powder puff, which I like to use to press my setting spray into my skin. And I think my skin looks absolutely beautiful. I'm actually obsessed with that foundation. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go off camera and do my eyebrows, because I've got nothing new for my brows. All I'm going to do is something dead simple. I'm just going to use the Benefit Foolproof Brow Powder. This is in the shade 3, and I'm just going to use a little bit of the lighter one just along the base line of my brows. And then I'm going to use my Glossier Boy Brow in the shade Black, just to sort of brush them up and hold them into place. So I'll do that and then I'll come right back. Okay guys, so I have done my eyebrows, and it's time to play with some eyeshadows. I'm so excited for this bit. I'm still doing my cottage garden makeup challenge, but this month's kind of been a bit of a disaster. I've still got I think 7 makeup looks to do, and it's the 27th of May, so that just doesn't, the math doesn't work. So I haven't decided yet whether I'm gonna have a couple of days where I do more than one makeup look, or whether I'm going to carry it over slightly into June, or if I'm just going to pick my favourites that I want to do and then scrap the rest. I haven't decided yet. It's just been a bit of a crap month really, health wise, and I've just not been able to do the looks that I planned, as many looks as I'd planned. So that's just the way it's worked out, unfortunately. I was really beating myself up about it, but it's silly to beat myself up about it. I can't help being ill and not being well enough to wear makeup, so it is what it is. So the look that I'm going to be doing today is Fern, and I have several options for this look. Obviously I have my palettes that are in my Shop My Stash. So the ones that I was originally going to use was the Ace Beauty Flare palette for these 2 shades here. I also have the So Jaded palette by Colourpop and Kathleen Lights, which is a really beautiful like grungy palette, and it's got these lovely green tones in. So I was going to use a mixture of those 2, but I've had a couple of new eyeshadow palettes. So I've had a few of the e.l.f. Bite Size palettes, and one of the ones I chose was the jalapeno, is it jalapeno? Yeah, hot jalapeno palette with these gorgeous grungy green tones in. I also have had a couple of the Smashbox Always On cream shadows. This one is in the shade Olive. And then I also have the Natasha Denona Mini Retro with these 2 green tones in. So and I've also got 2 pencil eyeliners. I've got a NYX one in the shade Chartreuse Flash, and the LA Girls Pastel Dream in Magic Mint. So I have a few options there, and I think what I'm going to do is, I was originally going to go for the Natasha Denona for this light green shade, but I don't think I want to use this yet. I kind of am saving this one. So I think I'm going to put that one aside for now. And I think I'm going to use, definitely going to use the e.l.f. bite-sized hot jalapeno. I've been dying to try these little palettes. These are £3, these palettes. And I'll just show you the other two I've got. So I've got the one in truffle, which is this lovely cool toned sultry like glam palette, and then rose water, which is this lovely like mauvey toned palette. So I've got those three in the bite-sized palette. So I think what I'm going to do is, as I say, just use the hot jalapeno, and I think I am going to dip into my So Jaded. I was thinking about throwing the Always On in there as well, but I'm not sure how powder will lie over this. I kind of like these more for like a one and done, like wash all across the eye, so I'm not going to use that just in case. As I say, I've got a big night of filming planned, and I don't want to sort of ruin, you know, my makeup and have to start all over again. So I'm going to just use the So Jaded to sort of lay some crease shades down. So I'm just using a big fluffy blending brush, and I'm going to take, for the first shade, the shade Geodude, which is this like cool sort of like not cool as in cool tone, cool as in like awesome, like grungy taupey green. So I'm just going to run that through my crease. Let's bring you a little bit closer for the eyes. There we go. So I'm just going to run that through. I've been really excited to do this particular inspired look because green is my favourite colour, and I actually got that e.l.f. bite-sized palette with this look in mind. So I've been really excited to use it, and I've heard such good things about these e.l.f. palettes. Just got a little brush here. But this month, as like I say, has been a bit of a disaster challenge makeup wise, because I've not worn it half as much as I expected to, and I also feel like I mentioned in my Shop My Stash video that I felt like I'd chosen way too many products, which would have been okay if I'd have worn makeup as much as I expected to, but there's an awful lot of products within my Shop My Stash that I've not touched, or not got the, you know, the full use that I'd hoped out of them. So I think a lesson has been learned this month with my Shop My Stash, definitely. And I'm going to try really hard not to, you know, pick as many products next month. So now I'm going to dip into the bite-sized palette. I'm so excited about this, and I'm going to go into the lighter of the two matte shades, and I'm going to take this on a Morphe E22, which is a slightly smaller fluffy blending brush than the one I used initially. There's quite a bit of kick up with these, as I've not set my, oh, a lot of pigment, as I've not set my base. It's not too much of an issue. If I get fallout, I can just blend it away. Now that is a nice eyeshadow for a £3 palette that has some nice pigment and is blending out really nicely. It's not going patchy at all. Yeah, that's really nice. And I'm going to take a smaller brush. This is just a Colourpop E9, and I'm going to put that same shade underneath my eye. And I just use the shadow underneath my eye to help sort of set the concealer that's under there. And you can probably see it on this eye, I've got a little bit of creasing in my fine lines, well, in my deep set lines, and I'm just using the brush and the shadow to help sort of blend that away. And then I want to do sort of like a slightly angled look, so I'm going to use this brush and take the shadow underneath and sort of start to bring it up into a line, and then switch back to my fluffy brush, take a little bit more of the shadow and connect the top to the bottom, if that makes sense. And I'm just going to keep building and blending. And then if that gets a little bit too much, I'm just going to take a beauty sponge and just tap over the edge. Yeah, that's looking exactly how I want it to. I'm going to do the other side. Now I'm going to take that smaller Colourpop brush, if I can find it. Yeah. So I'm going to take the smaller Colourpop brush and I'm going to use the darkest matte in the e.l.f. palette. Oh, that has a lot of kick up. Just tapping that off. And I'm just going to run this along my lash line on the outer edge. Very pigmented, but quite a lot of kick up in the pan. Really impressed with these shadows. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to use a mixture of So Jaded and the Bite Size palette for the shimmers as well. I really want to use this shade Emerald. So I'm just going to take that on my finger and I'm going to put that on my lid, but sort of focus towards the outer half. Like so. That's beautiful. That's like my favourite kind of green. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is take my small little Colourpop brush and I'm just going to feather that around the edges of where I've laid that emerald shade, just to blend the shimmer into the mattes on the outer corner. And then I'm just going to go over the very top with the initial brush that I used. And then from the Bite Size palette, I'm going to use this shade here for the front part of my lid. And this is a much brighter green, and it just creates a beautiful fade into that emerald shade. And I'm just sort of tapping over the emerald so the two sort of fade in together. And then again, I'm just going to take that initial fluffy brush and just blend over the edges. Like so. Okay, and that's it for eyeshadow. Really pleased with that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to curl my lashes. I'm going to put some of, I think, the Magic Mint from LA Girl in the waterline, and I'm going to do my mascara. I don't have any new mascaras to try, so I'm just going to use my L'Oreal Telescopic on my top lash and the MAC Giga Black on the bottom lashes, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I've just finished my eyes. I've just put the pencil in my waterline and I've done my mascara. I've zoomed you out a little bit but not completely. I'm just got highlight, blush and lips to do now. I don't have a new highlight to try, so I think I'm just going to go in with my Colourpop light sticks. This is in the shade Hope Street, and sort of spoiler alert, I'm not sure how I feel about this anymore. It's very glittery, so I just want to use it again today to sort of make my mind up about how I feel about it. I have used it this month already, so I'm just going to put it straight from the tube. I'm not sure how well it's going to pick up on camera, but it's very glittery and the glitter goes everywhere. It doesn't just go where you place it. So initially it looks nice when I first put it on my skin, but when I start to sort of blend it in, it's very sparkly. So yeah, not 100% how I feel about this one, but I actually love the Colourpop Blush and Light Sticks formula. It's just this particular shade. And I'm just going to put some of that on my nose. And forehead and chin. And then for blush, I kind of want to do a little bit of a mixing thing. So I've got my little palette that I use here, and what I think I want to do, I've got a couple of new cream blushes to try. Like for instance, I've got the other Melt cream blush. I bought two that I showed in a video a while back, and I've used the one but not used the other. And I've got one of these e.l.f. putty blushes, and I've also got the Flower Beauty blush balm in the shade Melon, but I think what I want to use, oh, and I've also got one left of the Beauty Pie cream blushes in the shade Fresh Faced, which is the peachy one. I've used the other two and put those away in my collection. I just haven't used this colour, so I absolutely know I love the formula. Same with the Melt, I just haven't tried that particular shade. But what I think I want to do is use my new Danessa Myricks pigment in the shade Phoenix, and mix it with my Glossier cloud paint in the shade Dusk. This is in my Shop My Stash. I've also got another one of these colour fixes in my Shop My Stash. This is the shade Carrot Top. So that's Phoenix and that's Carrot Top. As you can see, Phoenix is much more coral and Carrot Top is like a straight up carrot orange. So that one's in my Shop My Stash, and then I bought Phoenix the other day. So what I think I'm going to do is mix a little bit, a teeny tiny bit of the Danessa Myricks Phoenix in with my cloud paint in Dusk. So I've just put a little bit of that onto the palette. And then I'm going to just put a dot, because these are so pigmented, just a teeny tiny dot of that shade Phoenix on there as well. And I'm just going to mix it with my finger, and you can see it's sort of gone more of like a peachy. Maybe use a tiny bit more of Phoenix. I want more of that coral to come through. So I've just added a little bit more of that. Yeah, that's it. That's the colour that I was after. This is like that sort of sunburn colour. So I'm going to be sort of careful with this and just dot it on with my fingers. And then I'm just gonna go over, that looks crazy, I'm just gonna go over with my sponge to help blend it in. And I'm taking it up over that highlight. And the Danessa Myricks colour fixes do set down, as do the Glossier cloud paints. So I am sort of bearing that in mind and working slightly quickly. That's beautiful. My skin just looks so good. I've got quite a lot left on the palette, so I'm just going to use a little bit on my nose. There, that's so pretty. And I think what I'm going to do, rather than waste what is on here, the Danessa Myricks colour fixes are a completely multi-use product. You can use them on eyes, lips and cheeks. So I'm actually going to put that on my lips. I think I just want to line them first of all. I'm going to line them using Melt Hex. Just get rid of some of that balm. My lips are so dry at the moment. And this Melt Hex is kind of like a My Lips But Better colour. Okay, and then I'm just going to take some of that mixture on my finger onto my lips. For like a monochromatic kind of thing. That's lovely. So I'm really into this makeup, really big time. So I'm just going to zoom you in a little bit. The light is a little bit strange. Let's pull that across. So that's the finished look. So that's the finished makeup look. So I'm going to give you a brief rundown of what I've used and what I think about each product. So GRWM Skin Food, not a new product to me, absolutely love it as a base for makeup. The Nyx Born To Glow foundation, so far so very good. I absolutely love it. My skin just looks so natural. It's very radiant. My own sort of like, it's warmed up onto my face, and my own oils have started to sort of come through in certain places. It looks even better than it did when it was first put on. I've got no dry patches, everything blended on top of it, absolutely lovely. I do think this is going to become a new favourite foundation, and it's from the drugstore, which is even better. So I'm really pleased with that. Glossier Stretch Concealer, not a new product, absolutely love it. My Benefit Hoola Quickie Contour, another top favourite product of mine. My eyes, my eyeshadows, Colourpop So Jaded, I've been absolutely loving using that palette. I love the tones in it. I love that it's more grungy, and it's an unusual palette in my collection. It's not the same thing that we keep seeing over and over again, so I've really been enjoying that. The e.l.f. Bite Size palette, I'm so impressed with the quality of those shadows for the price. Now, it's not the best eyeshadow that I've ever used. Quite a lot of kick up, like a very powdery formula, but very pigmented, blended, absolutely fine, no problem, and there wasn't too much fallout on my face. So really super impressed with that. The highlight, as I said, I am really not sure how I feel about this one. It may be one that I move out of my collection sooner rather than later, but I want to sort of play with it a couple of times first before I make my decision. The little blush and lip combo that I did, I'm really loving how it looks on my cheeks. It's very different on my lips. I feel like the colour on my lips is completely different to the colour that's on my cheeks, even though it's exactly the same. Might have something to do with the mixing with the Myricks Melt Hex lip liner that's made it more of a sort of a brown tone. But yeah, I love the Danessa Myricks colour fixes. I already knew I did, and I love my Glossier cloud paints, so the two mixed together are a beautiful combination. Really chuffed, really love this makeup, so happy with how it's come out, and I really do hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you for sticking around if you've lasted till the end of the video. If you've lasted till the end and you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I'd absolutely love to have you here. As I said at the beginning of the video, I am working towards 100 subscribers, so any new subscribers, you mean the absolute world to me. That's a little bit of a milestone. For many years I have wanted to do YouTube, but have been too shy, too self-conscious, didn't really think I had anything to say that anybody would want to hear, and now I've sort of been dedicating myself to it properly, seeing people subscribe who actually want to hear what I have to say and watch me put makeup on, and that it really does mean the world to me. So thank you to all of you who are watching and who have subscribed. Give me a like and leave me a comment. I hope that whatever is going on in your life at the moment isn't too overwhelming. If you are struggling, if you are having a hard time at the moment, please do know that you are loved, that you're important, that you were put on this earth for a reason. My inbox is always open. If you follow me over on Instagram, my Instagram's always linked in the description box. I'm always there to lend a friendly ear if you need one. So yeah, keep loving yourself, keep loving each other. I love you, and I'll see you in my next one. Thanks guys, bye.